Cypher in the mix as well. We'll see what they can do.
Having frenzies as well on a pistol is huge, and wow, that's a great way to start things off. You have the owl drone. I've seen this before. Owl drone to open up the door, and then you just have a kill that comes through right after from a peek from showers. That was just a good way to catch SSG off guard, and now they're even going to push to the teleporter to aggress versus sSef and take him down as well. Meanwhile, though, that opens up the A site, so they have to play a retake. So you will be able to get a spike plan for Space Station, and roca watches the rotation and the flank rather, and is able to get that first kill. But the actions happen all across the map as we had more players pushing down towards the A entrance, towards the A defender spawn. That's something that SSG has taken advantage of as well the last time they played against each other, and it seems as though they are ready for this for Cloud9, but Kaplan makes it a 2 versus 2. Spike has yet to get planted because they're playing this very patiently and catching C9 pushing aggressively every time to prevent them from getting a spike. And now as he gets pinged out, Vice still gets the kill into roca, and Kaplan is stuck on a clutch.
Kaplan moving into position with a frenzy, spots one, and it's a frenzy battle. It's been fun to watch that pistol come into prominence. Kaplan's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm out. Backs off, and at least he'll guarantee a spike plant over on the B site. Both players in position, waiting to hear that spike potentially go down, waiting until they can both go through simultaneously.
Spike planted.
And that does allow Kaplan into this great position, right on the other side of the bin, as they start to make their way out from the window. You can see one's already on site, and Kaplan has no idea as Mitch just comes up over the top rope, and Cloud9 picks up a pistol to kick things off here on Bind.
And I think it wasn't only an owl drone that we saw go through the teleporter, but I'm pretty sure I saw the recon dart come through.
Kicking off as the dart comes through and gives away his position. That allows Cloud9 to get this advanced spot, and it also makes the take that much harder if they were even to try to get in. But TenZ is having none of that. TenZ with the bulldog from distance finds 3. He wants 4. Is he gonna find himself the ace? There's one more target around the corner. Of course he is. TenZ.
But SSG has something different in mind. They still want to continue and take possession of short A and the showers.
Revealing area.
TenZ with a pickoff onto roca. We talked about that battle, what it might look like, and in the initial fight here on the site, able to spot him out. Now, TenZ is in a rough position in that back corner, desperately needs some help as they're going to try and do some additional damage, but look at this play from Insky. Because of that back position
30 seconds left.
for Cloud9, that allowed him up into lamps, and he was able to take advantage of it. Unfortunately for Insky, only one left standing. Now the ult is available, but surprise, there's still one there. Interesting that the Killjoy decides to take it out. Not that it mattered either way. It was going to get canceled. 12 seconds left on the round, and Vice is in position. That slow play from hardware down, the turret's been taken out, so Killjoy's presence here on the site not only known, but they're gonna have to look out for all of that pesky hardware laying on the ground. Now they decide to back off. They've pulled the rotate out because they've got them to come through the portal. They know that the A site is weak, so they exploited the fact that Cloud9 has been consistently using those ports to try and go for those mid pinches.
Yeah.
And now they've reacted. I love the read from Space Station. It's a good adjustment.
Spike planted.
You still would have hoped some kills would have happened from that hookah area because they took control with 2 players there. So with 1 going through the teleporter, or even 2, you would hope that they would have a 2-2 trade and take the upper hand. But now it's a tough 4 versus 2 or 3 versus 4 retake who evens it up on a 3-3 tally. The retake is coming through now for Cloud9 Blue as TenZ is moving out towards heaven, but land control is still in possession of SSG. So sSef gets the headshot. He's now looking for the crossfire with his teammates, but we are closing through. Thankfully, though, they do have a Hunter's Fury from Kaplan. He tags with the first, gets him off the spike, but it has been defused on halfway at least. Now on that 2 versus 1, it's going to be sSef with the 3rd pick onto Boostio and also onto Insky. But now as they have a lot of resources on the B side, we have initiation and a push towards the attacker side for SSG inside A. And they're still going to try to come in right now just to try to see if they can get a couple of kills before. But now they're forced to fall back just because of the Killjoy lockdown. So time has been wasted. Spike at least has been planted. And now you have a good pulse plant position for Spacestation Gaming.
I love the fact that they still get the spike plant despite the effort from Mitch to deny it. And again, the Space Station managed to find a win.
Things up again. but that's the thing. They don't really have more information from Cloud9 Blue because they haven't pushed on the opposite side of the map. So those two players are still going to be stuck inside Hookah, while the rest now could move in towards the A side. At least a trade comes in their favor. It makes it a 4 versus 4. A big paranoia will force shinobi back into the site, but now he's met up with Relyks, where they could double it up on a peek against Kaplan, but he gets both of them down. This is good right now for the attackers. The spike has been planted. Last one on a flank, and Mitch will fall. So SSG...
And that gives them full access to elbow and back halls.
But that's also the second time that the attackers from SSG actually went aggressively on long B off the back of a run it back. Right? A lot of the debate happens sometimes as, should we actually have a Raze instead of a Phoenix on the attack, or at least as an agent on this map, where a Showstopper usually is the one that hops into the map to get the kill. Nonetheless, though, we'll talk about that a little bit. We have SSG able to take the side of the map, and look at this. Again, they get a spike plant, but look at the position of Insky. He's all the way up towards the defender spawn. He already has SSef moving up with him as well, and they have great post plant position where they don't have to fall back towards short A, or they don't have to fall back towards showers. They just play the crossfire setup in the trade as they're all set up.
The spike as it goes down inside Tuna. The retake is already well underway, and that's TenZ with the dirty shot through the steel container. TenZ looking for more as well. An absolutely ridiculous flick back from TenZ. The spike planted inside. It's almost impossible for Kaplan to do anything about it. You mentioned it. Cloud9 got 5 rounds the last time.
They couldn't really try to go for a safe spot to plant, just being afraid that Cloud9 Blue might be very aggressive on that retake. But this round, we talked about aggression. It's going to be TenZ pushing first. But that battle, the top duelist for each team, it's going to be Roca that takes the upper hand.
All right.
Ooh.
Even Relyks paused for a moment, like he's just kind of like, oh, well, okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah, like totally meant to do that. Relyks actually has a potential line on another kill as well. There's one using dark cover to sneak right around the corner to the back of that box, and that's a nice pickoff from Kaplan. A little bit scary there as Relyks was holding that for a moment, but the smoke was just big enough to allow that position. Cloud9 down a player currently, but like they're able to do this. Yeah, you're right. You've got Omen right around the corner. You've got one already pushed up in mid. I mean, Space Station has great positioning, like you said.
Yeah. So the last two guys now just looking for redemption here with shinobi and Vice. I mean, they do have the spike. They have 30 seconds left, but the only information that they have was that push from Boostio.
30 seconds
They don't know
left.
the full rotation came back towards the A side. I mean, they might have an idea since they know that the flank came in from Boostio, but they don't know that somebody's playing inside this cubby, and that's an easy kill for Insky. Second one, it will get the dink. Vice will get a kill before, and that's it. I mean, you lose a player out of 4, disrespect them at the same time, and push back against them like Cloud9 did on defense.
Shinobi takes a dart straight to the face.
Joke's over.
So he's going to back off just a bit. Advanced positions currently, and they're trying to set up a potential pinch. Boostio does push through and find some on the other side of showers. That allows sSef to get into this position as well, and now a follow-up through the port from Boostio as he's got their heads looking in multiple directions. They've been put on a swivel, but unfortunately, it all falls apart. SSG had that advantage. They had that strong position. I don't think they anticipate Mitch being in this spot, so things are starting to fall apart. It's all up to sSef, who is now going to be able to upgrade. But look at what he's got left. 3 HP and a dream for the Cypher against a Raze. Not exactly
love
the
pinch,
ideal scenario.
Yeah, you're definitely happy with the pinch, and you know, with the run it back that they used for Spacestation Gaming, the rest of them you saw it was sort of an eco. So this being salvaged by sSef, and if you could actually get maybe some damage, maybe a kill, even if the spike goes off, you're happy with the result for Spacestation Gaming. But Relyks at this point, he doesn't know how much HP his opponent has, and sometimes you've seen in the past matches throughout this tournament that 3 HP, 4 HP, 1 HP is definitely good enough to still win the round. So sSef is committing to this. He's gonna tap on his spike to push him out and even force out an ultimate. So this is huge right now, and it misses. But finally, Relyks gets the kill, salvages the round for Cloud9 Blue, and we have a 9-7 scoreline for SSG to stay alive. But thankfully, there you go. He's playing more towards that back. The Hunter's Fury comes out. It goes inside the lamp, but he's already safe and out of position. So this is going to be big right now for sSef to stay alive and wait for his teammates to rotate.
Oh, there's the spike being secured here. It's a 5-on-5 It'll be a full force retake as both teams prepare to just clash on the site. They're going to collide. And what happens when an unstoppable force hits an immovable object? We might find out in just a moment. They're beginning their push out from spawn. There's the dart to try to lead them in. Dart cover and paranoia coming out from Omen for the attacking side. Kaplan trying to make his way through. Has to be careful though, low on ammo and ends up being taken down. But it's Space Station who's found themselves in an advantageous position. They know where Shinobi's at, the last player standing. And as he goes for the wide swing, Roca is holding. That's double-digit rounds right now for Space Station.
From these positions, somebody like Insky in that corner of the B cubby right now is heavily exposed from paint shells.
Peak early from Boostio. Might have done a live for Space Station. They scrape.
It's still going to be a slow play from Cloud9, and this time going to be affected towards this B side. And that paranoia hits his teammate for a bit, but mitch still tries to move in. Big dart that allows sSef to get 2 kills. A showstopper to come out. That's going to connect, but not until he gets a 3rd kill of himself. So now it's a 3 versus 2. The Spike looking to move back here to get a plant towards the A side. It might happen at triple. And as they rotate back, they do have one man under for Cloud9. And SSG is looking big on this retake. Because you went for the teleport, they knew it was happening. You already had 2 guys on half rotations. So it was a faster retake now for Cloud9. Vice stuck on a 3 versus 1. They know exactly where he's at. As the first shot rings, he goes for the recon dart, but it's just going to go for the full defuse. And SSG,
the history of Breach is an interesting and tumultuous one. We'll get into that in just a minute as Boostio is on site from inside Hell. The ropes position doesn't work out so well for Boostio as the nade tried to flush him out, but ends up getting spotted, leaping away from it with a knife out, and then just caught in no man's land. Now, Mitch has picked off 1 with the frenzy, does get spotted out by the alarm bot, so currently sitting vulnerable. You do have pickoffs coming in by way of Kaplan, who's got the frenzy. There's the peek from Vice. Mitch is there with the backup as well, and a flying shot coming in at the end there from Vice.
But what really denies that type of aggression is really the utility of the Raze, and Boostio used that perfectly. The boom bot as well as the paint shells prevented TenZ from actually getting more than a kill because it was down to 10 HP. But with this round though, a very slow round for Cloud9. Last second push inside the A side with the economy that they have, with the money that they have. The only thing that they could show for is a kill versus alarm if anybody's trying to come up towards this B heaven side. And they have the opportunity of Kaplan right now. There you go. The alarm bot's going to come off. It's going to hit him. That allows for the rolling thunder, but nobody's going to push out of that. They're just going to slow down the clock. And now it's going to be roca that's going to try to get an opening instead.
Oh! Ooh, you hate to see that. Even with Empress, roca falls to a stinger of all things. Insky's in position, but the nano swarm is brutal. This is a great adjustment from Cloud9. They took control of mid. We saw them try to go up into B heaven, but they caught an audible, and they turned things back around now. sSef takes significant damage battling Vice, but does win in the one-on-one. Boombot around the corner, that's, yeah, not much you can do about that. Boostio goes for the peak, and he just swallows a rocket, gobbles it up. And it's down to now just 2 for Space Station. Kaplan has Breach, and sSef as the heavily tagged up Killjoy. That is a solid round win.
He had after the bonus, he definitely was going to be able to save a drop of weapon for his teammate and maybe even at least go for a small shield. But into this round, we're starting to see TenZ trying to wake up here, and it's going to be on the A side. It's caught off camera, but it's him pushing down towards the A, getting a couple of kills, but they have lost a player in the process. So they have lost Mitch, but they do have mid control. But a big flank from Boostio somehow made it behind that Ramen, gets the first kill, so now they're just going to try to book it towards the A side. But sSef is waiting. That's a molly. A second nanoswarm onto the ground. A wide swing coming through. Shinobi is dancing into the molly, down to 83 HP, and that forces the hand back towards the B side because you also have TenZ that pushed up towards heaven. He catches the first kill. The ult is wasted towards the A side on top of that. So sSef and now also Kaplan will have to try to retake on a 2 versus 2. Thankfully, though, Relyks is low HP.
Right there.
2-on-2, a promising scenario for Cloud9. Like you said, though, Relyks low on health. In a good spot, though, up on the balcony. That flash, just so powerful. Kaplan in the one-on-one, has to guess right. Spray gets away from him, but at the same point in time, Kaplan didn't take any damage. Still at
That's
full
crazy.
armor and HP. I thought for sure bullets were connecting, but no. I think a bit of
attacked and really try to bait out SF first, and then you're gonna have the kills come in from Boostio. But you have a dash that came through, the satchel charges on top, and that is how you win the round in the end for Cloud9. 2 big entries, and now it's gonna be an open site. I think at this point you're saving for a Spacestation Gaming.
Spike planted.
You play so close and you dash through, I mean, whew. That was nice.
Space Station not looking so hot here after a nice string of rounds. Cloud9 found an opening and took advantage of it.
Flawless.
And flawless round win. Limited damage even being dealt by Space Station.
Is happening towards A, so a big anchor play has to happen from sSef at A side.
30 seconds left.
sSef has popped off at times as well, so sSef gonna be tasked with this challenge. Able to pick off the first one as Relyks goes for the cross, but has to surrender at that point. I'll give them site control as the dark cover makes it
Spike
too difficult for much impact for their Killjoy. sSef, here's that shadow step, has no idea where Omen moved to. Insky now coming to the bottom of ropes as well. This is certainly a winnable scenario. It has to start here, and unfortunately, as that happens, another kill came through as well onto Boostio, so the numbers have shifted heavily in favor of Cloud9. SSG now down to just 1, and it's the player who tried to kick things off on the defense, and then they know that sSef is stuck in screen. Spam already coming through dark cover. Not much can be done for
And it will start off with roca, starting
30
with the
seconds
leer.
left.
roca leers through and moves into the ropes as the nades come through, so have to dodge the damage from the paint shells. Great movement from Relyks off the blast pack to fly into the face of roca.
planted.
In the meantime, the site was lost, but roca could have been a big piece of the defense. It's going to put pressure on some of these players who are so low on HP. You've got Boostio, who's on 2 health. You've also got a Killjoy, who's heavily tagged up. They're looking for players back behind the play, but they have to first deal with this
Wow.
one. Over in hell, and somehow
enemy
these are
remaining.
starting to come together.
One enemy
Frenzies.
remaining.
Just a little bit stronger than it once was. Mitch taps the spike. It's down to the one-on-one. The fault line comes through, but there's the swing wide.
Don't interrupt my
And it's
work.
Mitch, who's found now 3 kills on the round as Killjoy. We talked about Mitch coming in.
By 3, it's going to be very difficult to do. You're going to have to try to rely on something here, and they don't have any ultimates to work with, so they're just going to go straight up here on the top. It's going to be Boostio, satchel charge with a frenzy to get a kill, but they lost 2 players in the process. They just want to get into the site at least to get the spike plant.
Spike planted.
All right. A promising take from Space Station. They've managed to scrape this one together, and they've snuck a spike plant into the mix. Shinobi looking to clear out corners, and yeah, that's well played.
Yeah.
Good utilization of that breach charge. Now, Boostio's in heaven. Started off with the frenzy, now upgrades to the Vandal. The spike not at all planted for him, and the flashes make this impossible. The spike's going to be defused in here in a second.
Remaining.
At least it's an expensive round. Like,
How these rounds have been panning out here for the attacker side. But this is such a passive play for Cloud9 right now. They even walk up towards mid, and it's still open for business. Nonetheless, though, you still see the first operator to come in hand on this match, on this map even. But it's trading off here from a showstopper from Boostio, so that's Relyks to fall. Ultimate to be locked down, put at the screens, courtesy of Mitch, but they still make it inside the A side to go for a plant. Vice on a huge rotation right now, and a big paranoia allows Shinobi to get the kill onto sSef. Spike is now planted on the 3 versus 3. Aftershock at the same corner, but it's going to be TenZ that's able to dodge that for a bit. Leer to come out. One is looking down towards the elbow, and that is going to be Shinobi. First contact versus roca. A second one versus Boostio, who wins it. He's trying to go for the flick. That's picking a TenZ, but it's on a 1 versus 1. Spike is now planted behind the map. They're looking for the off angle, and insky is going to win that one with a headshot onto Vice.
and turret in B main. I love this play because they use the flash off the back of that as well. There's the lockdown being popped, but it's kind of risky, right? Like they have to throw it down just because of the fear of what's coming that direction. Rolling Thunder to lead them in. I love this from Mitch. He wants to try and take out the ult, but he's unable to do so. They finally get there to take it out, but look at what it cost them. Almost more than it would have cost them to just let the ult go.
Yeah.
TenZ, meanwhile, from heaven, skeet shooting currently with the op, and yeah, he's just having fun at this point. He's found 3 kills on the round. And it's down to Kaplan. The knives are out as well. It looks like the writing is on the wall as it's Kaplan who's trying to make it onto the site. That's just TenZ. Doing what TenZ does best. A 4K had me get very close to Danny, so I hope for his sake he's able to find the win.
Wow.
But my heart still says Cloud9 is going to take this one, and TenZ kicks things off with a bang. Mitch is there with the backup as well. Cloud9 gets full access to the A site. A follow-up onto Insky. And this round is looking ominous as Cloud9 starts quick with an A push.
Gotta love those right
Spike
clicks,
planted.
especially as TenZ wheeling that as that jet pushing in and getting those kills. Somehow, the first one, point of contact, I'm pretty sure that was Roca at the ramp. Yes, he was actually a little bit blind from the paranoia, but TenZ was close enough where he could probably see him as he's nearsighted to get the kill. But you have 3 players that are low HP as they are going for this retake attempt. Kaplan spotting one here. They're going for the wallbang. Double frenzy to get the kill. But now here comes retaliation instead from the hell side. After that dart that came out, a turret on the top 2, a long-range frenzy to connect onto Vice, but it's traded off to Mitch. Speaking of Mitch, switching out from the Killjoy, switching out from the Cypher into a Killjoy.
And there's the door being shut by SF. I do like this setup currently, but this paranoia is going to make this a little bit awkward. So there's the flash coming through. They have a freebie kill, and yeah, never mind. As cool as that setup could have been, it's completely eliminated by a boombot and a shotgun in conjunction with the paranoia. It was all it took to completely decimate the push. And now even TenZ finding one more. You know he wants this last one too. He wants the 4K on that shotgun.
Close. He gets it. At least you had a little bit of connection going on there from Roca getting hit. Blast packs, darts. Let's stop talking because they're rushing straight into the A side again. But Roca connects with the headshot from Generator. Quickly traded out though by Relyks. Already the defense on the A side. When we set the shares to bring true here for SSG, pushed away from the ult, immediately denied here by Cloud9. They get into a site. It's going to be a 4 versus 3. You are trying to move in with these pistols. And a nice dart, actually, as you're trying to spray through, but that's not going to kill anybody there. Full HP, or very healthy, at least, for Cloud9. And things are looking not too great for SSG to try to get these rounds, especially with the lockdown. 2 of them will get detained, so it's going to be a bait. You're going to try to get a kill there from Seth, but it's not going to happen. Even a temp of a knife kill, you're able to make a way through the corner at least, and it's going to be Relyks. Adding up a
Just good positioning and spatial awareness. Well played. Space Station, they won 1, lose 1, but the buy still comes through from them. And they start things off with an aggressive player of their own. This is what we had talked about pace setting. Space Station will excel if their players are feeling confident and playing aggressively. That's what Roca does really well. And that's the first time we've really seen them successfully go for an aggressive look early. But off the back of that, Cloud9's just going to charge into this B site, and it's looking okay for Space Station. They find 2 kills initially. Shinobi goes through the smokes, but SF is still on the site, doing big things, and there's still 1 more here as well. But somehow Insky comes up empty-handed. So, despite their early efforts, we're still at a 2-on-2.
Spike planted.
They still had it for SSG, though. All the information, you talked about aggressive plays, the double push to start things off to get the first kill, but at the same time, they pushed Catwalk and they also pushed A-main all the way through Spawn. And once again, that's Boostio. A flank on a different map, but onto this map, he always goes all the way through Spawn, which maybe wastes a little bit of time, but goes for a bigger backstab. That clock is ticking down. Thankfully, we're low HP for Cloud9, but HP doesn't matter. Mitch is at 11. It's on a 1 versus 1, but the right click comes through for Boostio. He's going to have enough time. The defuse is going to come through. And what I was trying to say is from him flanking all the way towards Spawn and already having Roca up on Catwalk, they knew the attack was eventually going to happen towards the B side. The key play with Mitch to maybe try to force a rotation out.
You should run.
There's an old
especially with that.
Yeah. It doesn't look like Roca's falling for this one, but he does change positions, goes inside the door.
30 seconds left.
And that's going to allow them to just get right on out. So the smoke comes through, but there's a gap, and Roca can play with that. There's the dismiss as well. sSef has picked up the kill onto Mitch. TenZ does eventually drop Roca, but they're already moving into position. They've already made it up to heaven as the spike touches pay dirt. Shock darts flying out in both directions. It's a beautiful display of fireworks on the site, but no damage has been dealt. It's purely aesthetic. Vice in position, tries to do a lot, but only does a little. 1 kill for him, and it's all the pressure now onto TenZ. TenZ finds the first. He's got 6 HP. Just guesses wrong on the 50-50. It'll be sSef to win the round for SSG, and they find number 4 on the board. We've had close half after close half in all of the first halves in these 3 maps that we've seen played out, and it's looking like we're going to get that again. As
to prevent them from pushing like that, it's going to have to be some utilities from what they have, but they don't really have any type of utilities to counter it back. That said, though, they are holding back towards the A side. It's going to be a push through, but a 3 versus 1 in the end, with only 1 stuck inside that site. It's going to be Mitch. Full HP, first kill. Bulldog in hand. It bites on the first. Cancels out the recon dart as well. He pulls the door and pick up a Vandal. But the last 2 players, now he knows that it's going to be somewhere up towards that heaven. And especially with that peak, spots them both, including the turret. With still plenty of time, he could still make it a death match. That's 2 separate 1 versus 1.
Hoped. And there's some good damage dealt currently to Space Station. They finally start working their way in, and the dart cover is down on the door that allows them to get across. Now, Boostio just runs straight at them. An interesting decision, to say the least, but they will guarantee a spike plant out of this. Dart cover's down on top of the turret, so it won't spot them on the cross. There's an alarm bot going down, taken out as it's spotted almost immediately. Recon dart also being dropped. The smoke's going out. With the turret falling, they've got the ability to come more towards sidewalk as well. TenZ spamming some shots through the door and through the wall. Not necessarily hitting, but very close to the targets, and it's all falling apart. TenZ ends up finding a nice little 3-piece on the round. He was strong in the pistol round in the first half, and he repeats in similar fashion here as Cloud9 and what we're seeing here. Very, very different. But like, let's see how it works. Again, this is another player we talked about was Relyks. You know, what was Relyks' impact going to be looking like? It was more on the attack, not so much on the defense, as typically speaking, he's been on the lurk on the B side and watching for the pushes over in that direction. But this time he opens things up here for Cloud9. Nice response from roca, who tries to get across. There's Relyks again, coming up big. And the nade is actually huge. It's going to land right in their laps. It's going to do significant damage. Kaplan, who's down to 61 HP, is the sole remaining member of Space Station and now has to fight his way out of the scenario. With 11 seconds left, has to go for the dedicated plant. And that shock dart, it's right on the money. Vice, he's just going for those bank shots. Clearly an A-set pool, as he knows his geometry well. And the angle is perfect, it's right on the money. It's a 10th round point, but it's going to be a run it back from that orb and immediately canceled out. This is going to be so hard right now for Space Station Gaming to retake, especially with the nanoswarms coming on the ground. Hunter's Fury to come out at the same time too, does not connect, but roca still gets an opener. Here comes the showstopper, connects onto roca, and it's trade at the trade. A 1-man advantage, made that tied up, and it's still going to be a 1 versus 1 in the end as insky kills him. Versus Vice. Canceled out everything else. They had to try to run in through their own blaze wall, and then it was just open season for TenZ and for Relyks. When they had a 4 versus 2, it was just the perfect picks on that timing for Cloud9, and they're holding their ground. They're holding it even more.
You should run.
4 kills away from winning the series and making it to the playoffs of the UMG close qualifier. And it starts off now with them being pushed out, or continued with them being pushed away from the ultimate, but they're not committing on this right now. Wasted.
There's the shots coming out, and it's all starting to spiral, but hold on. sSef pops off, finds 3.
Nowhere
Boostio is now in a 1-on-2, and oh no, Boostio actually runs into oh no!
Defenders
Boostio! He tries to dodge it, and it's just